Before time began, before galaxies spun, before Earth was shaped, before even the concept of before existed, the universe was a sanctuary of unbroken, flawless light. It was a canvas untouched by shadow, where every corner resonated with the harmony of divine presence. In this realm of perfect serenity, heaven stood as the throne room of the Almighty, a kingdom where every angel shimmered as a reflection of God's infinite brilliance. Among these celestial beings was one whose radiance outshone them all, Lucifer, the morning star. Lucifer was not merely an angel. He was God's masterpiece, sculpted by the Creator's own hand. He was adorned with every jewel of wisdom, every hue of beauty. He stood as the seal of perfection, lacking nothing, overflowing with gifts no other creature could match. His voice, when lifted in song, was like the echo of eternity itself, leading the choirs of heaven in symphonies that wove through the cosmos. His light was not just seen, it was felt, igniting reverence in all who beheld him. Even Michael, heaven's mightiest warrior, marveled at Lucifer's splendor, honoring him as the crown jewel of creation. Yet perfection is a fragile thing, and hidden within it lies the most perilous of treasures, free will. God had not created evil. Evil was not a crafted force, but rather a possibility born from freedom. For love to be genuine, choice must exist. The Creator, in his boundless love, gave his angels the power to choose, to worship freely, to obey sincerely. But within that gift also lurked the shadow of pride. It started subtly, like a soft murmur in the farthest chambers of Lucifer's mind. A fleeting thought, as gentle as a breeze. What if my light could shine brighter? Why must my glory always serve another? Simple questions, harmless, it seemed. But in the vast, echoing silence of his own brilliance, these whispers began to take root, to grow. The change was imperceptible at first. His songs became quieter, his harmonies less jubilant. Where his gaze once rose in adoration of the Creator, it now lingered on his own reflection. He envisioned a universe where he, not God, was the center. A realm where his light was no longer a reflection, but the source itself. God, in his infinite patience, spoke to Lucifer. Lucifer, my son, the seal of perfection, I sense pride weaving its way into your heart. Remember, your light is born of my love. It flows through you, not from you. Do not mistake the reflection for the source. But pride is a cunning veil. It blinds even the wisest of minds. Lucifer began to see God's gentle warnings as chains, shackling his potential. His heart, once aflame with adoration, now simmered with defiance. Then came the moment that changed eternity, the great revelation. God summoned the celestial hosts for an announcement that would ripple across the fabric of reality. The heavens vibrated with anticipation as the Almighty spoke. I will create a material universe, a world adorned with life, with beauty yet unseen. Upon it, beings crafted in my image will walk. Humans, fragile yet destined for greatness. And from among them I will take on flesh. My Son will walk their earth. His name will be Jesus Christ. The heavens erupted in a chorus of awe. Stars pulsed in rhythm to angelic songs of jubilation. But amidst the crescendo of celestial wonder, one figure stood unmoved. Lucifer. To him, the thought of kneeling before God in mortal flesh was unthinkable. It was not an act of love. It was a humiliation, an offense to his pride. In a voice cold and deliberate, Lucifer spoke a single word that shattered heaven's harmony. No. A word echoed through eternity, a defiant tremor that silenced choirs and stilled the stars. Lucifer, my beloved, is this your choice? God asked, his voice heavy with sorrow. You ask us to bow before clay, before creatures fashioned from dust? I will not bow to what is beneath me, Lucifer declared, his tone sharp with indignation. He turned to his fellow angels, his charisma igniting their hidden doubts like sparks on dry leaves. Brothers, open your eyes. We are beings of light, pure and untarnished. Shall we now diminish ourselves before flesh? This is not love. This is subjugation. This is the death of our dignity. What began as whispers now roared through the celestial realms. Murmurs of uncertainty, fueled by Lucifer's eloquence, spread like wildfire. The brightest, the most admired of angels, those who had once led heaven's praise, began to waver, their hearts seduced by the allure of self-exaltation. But from the heart of the assembly stepped Michael. With a voice that cut through pride's illusions, he uttered 3 words. Who is like God? A simple question, yet it struck with the force of 1,000 thunders. A declaration of humility. A reminder that all glory, all beauty, flowed from the Creator, not the created. Lucifer's serene mask cracked, and his rage flared like a star-going supernova. You understand nothing, Michael. This is not rebellion. This is dignity. This is freedom. You've mistaken your reflection for the source, Lucifer, Michael replied, his sword of light now drawn. You are not the flame. You are the mirror. Tensions split the heavens as sides were chosen. Lucifer with his army of the ambitious, the proud, the deceived. Angels of breathtaking power, now tainted by their lust for elevation. Michael, leading those whose hearts remain steadfast, whose wings beat in rhythm with truth. Thus began the first war in the history of creation. Heaven, once a realm of unbroken peace, became a battleground. Light clashed against corrupted light. Thunderous hymns turned to the cries of warfare. But the war was not waged by might alone. It was a battle of truth against deception. Every time Michael's legions shouted, "Who is like God?" their words became swords, their humility a shield against pride's onslaught. In a climactic moment, Michael raised his blade, infused with the power of divine justice, and declared, "By the authority of God, fall." And fall they did. Lucifer and his legion of once glorious angels were cast out of heaven, their wings torn from grace, their light eclipsed by their own rebellion. They plummeted into the abyss, their cries swallowed by the chasm of their own choosing. Lucifer, the morning star, was no more. He had become Satan, the adversary, the great deceiver. His beauty, once a reflection of divine love, was now a mask for his corruption. But even in his fall, his defiance did not wane. Stripped of heaven, his gaze turned toward earth. If he could not ascend to God's throne, he would corrupt what God loved most. Taking the form of a serpent, Satan slithered into Eden, weaving the same deceit that had ensnared him into Eve's heart. "You will be like God," he whispered, a lie veiled in desire, a promise of divinity through disobedience. Humanity's fall echoed his own, a tragic reflection of pride choosing self over reverence. Throughout the ages, Satan has resurfaced. He tempted Job with suffering, sought to twist Jesus with promises of worldly power. Yet each encounter followed the same pattern, pride confronting humility. And every time, pride lost. But the war is not over. In the end times, Satan will rise again, as the great dragon, leading a final furious rebellion against God's kingdom. A last, desperate strike against the light. Yet as it began, so it shall end. Michael will stand again, his sword raised, his cry unwavering. Truth will stand again. The armies of heaven will rise, not as conquerors by might, but as victors by truth. And Satan, the ancient serpent, the prince of pride, will be cast into the lake of fire, forever severed from creation. His rebellion silenced, his name remembered not for glory, but as a cautionary tale of what becomes of those who forget their place. Lucifer's story is a tragic anthem, a reminder that even the brightest can fall when gratitude gives way to pride. But intertwined with that fall is a greater truth. Goodness, though challenged, though battered, is unconquerable. Good always triumphs. Light never yields to darkness.